Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Monday morning, September 21st. We are looking at the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. And the landscape has definitely changed for the SPY and the ES as we are looking to gap lower for a weekly gap. Here's the last 2 days of the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. And just a few short weeks ago, every time frame is up, and now we've gone to balance in the monthly, down weekly, down daily. I did not count this as an outside week down only because of the dividend, but that's just semantics. It was not a bullish close by any stretch of the imagination, even though we tried to rally. We pecked away at the 50-day moving average constantly, right? Like 2-3 days. Finally now below it. We have a tremendous price void below, right? So we give you both sides of the equation here and tell you where we should be going if this happens or if that happens. Well, we said any acceptance below 331, we're going to see those monthly and weekly gaps fill. That's what we're about to see this morning, unless we have a tremendous turnaround in the next 75 minutes. I'm going to attempt to tape the first hour of my live streaming profile and then put that on YouTube to show you guys and gals what we do here at CamelbackTrading.org. And if you missed yesterday, I put out a small 2-minute video on a turn back the clock special, so check that out. So let's get to what's going on today. So right now, let's go over the destinations and the game plan for this morning. So right now on the upside, our first destination is Friday's low of 327.97. Right now it's over a 200 tick gap. Okay? Then above that, we don't have anything until single prints, right? We still had the trend day. We had a double distribution day on Friday. You got into the single prints late, never filled them. Here's your lower distribution, here's your upper distribution. 331.58 get filled at 71. Then our pre-market high, 334.11, and Friday's high, 335.49. For the downside, now this is where it gets very interesting. Right now, we're wiping anything and everything out. So for the open around the 325 and change level, well, I'm going to give you the price probe at 326.13 from July 31st. Then below that, we have our overnight low of 324.64, and our next destination is 321.33. Below that, we have 2 weekly lows, 319.64 and 319.25. So just like I said, there's a void to the downside to the right. Remember, down to 327 level? Well, if we get acceptance below Friday's low, there's a void down to the 321 level and the 319 level. Plain and simple. And then we have a daily low below that of 319.09, which is a poor low. And if you think we have a void there, there's nothing below that to really the 312 level. It's very important when we have these price voids and vacuums, because when you're playing against short-term algorithms, they need to search for a destination. That's exactly what they're doing this morning. So what is acceptance? Well, if we close below Friday's low, well, and hold the gap, especially if we hold the gap, well, that's acceptance below there. And eventually we're going to go down and trade to that 319 level. And then we see what happens at that juncture. So game plan for this morning. Plain and simple is only one play. That's a short play. I would not be looking for a long at any point right now because of the price void. There's nothing to lean on. You can have lower value. You can have a gap lower. And algo searching for a place to push down to. So let it breathe. Let it do what it wants to do. The only play I would absolutely look for right now is a short. Now it's a $2 gap. I don't like that either, right? You know, gap rules apply, put in context. If we're to get some sort of inventory adjustment and get this gap down to about $1.25, I will then take a 328 put that expires today against Friday's low. If the gap gets filled, I reassess. If in B period we start one-time framing up, I reassess and would not hold a put. Because now, if the market's that weak, you shouldn't one-time frame up, and the odds are you would fill that gap then. This is all play-by-play market-generated information that's given to you from 9:15 to 4 p.m. every day on this voice channel for pennies, literally pennies a day. And then let's go to the charts. So monthly. Now again, we have 10 days left to go in the month, but this is pretty scary right now if you're a bull. Because not only are you filling the gap and stopping the one-time framing up, and well within February's range, which was our huge balance, if we close, and again, we have 10 days left, but if we close below 327.73 this month, that's an outside month down, which would be the longest time frame. That's pretty bearish. Now again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but the bears, if they show up and force it in any capacity, can do that. Right now it's balance if we take out last month's low. Weekly, we were a 2-week balance. You can have called it an outside week down. I didn't because of the dividend, but regardless, we are gapping lower now, filling this gap. So what's your next destination? If you don't come back in and fill today's gap, your next destination are those 2 weekly lows right here that I gave you. Right? Plain and simple, down around the 319 level. And then on the daily, now a lot of people call this a 9-day balance because we came back in. I did not. I said I call this down, right? One time framing down 2 days below the 50. Well, we're going to be one time framing down 3 days to start with another gap, right? This gap never filled, don't forget. It was 500 ticks. They got it to within 80, but they never filled it. Well, we're going to have another gap on the daily, right? Failure at the 50. What's your next destination on, the 200's all the way down to 310, we'll call it. There will be pit stops, right? First one's going to be the 319 level, then a 312 level. So again, the sellers have finally possibly taken control here. We did 105 million shares on Friday. Good volume. Right now, pre-market volume is 1.3 with 70 minutes to go. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Good luck trading. Have a great day, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.